didn't really like this week's episode of Durarara. Pacing fell off, lots of character introduction, some stuff was not explained, like why the hell was, like this is personally just like a pet peeve of mine, when somebody breaks the fourth wall without really acknowledging that they're that type of show. I don't know, when Shinra was just breaking the fourth wall, it just... It killed me. Not like it laughter-wise killed me, it killed me because I was like, this is really pissing me off, because I don't know if he's talking to a camera or what's going on. Is he actually talking to the audience? And even if he is talking to the audience, my main question was, how did he figure out the story and all of this information if he wasn't at these places at any event whatsoever? Example, like when he was talking about Mikado and Henri, when they were talking to Walker and forgot her name, the other girl, when they were about to do karaoke. How in God's name did he know what they were doing and imagine all of that without actually being there? Another thing is like how the schoolgirls, Izaya's sisters, which I'll get to in a second, when they were trying to get revenge for drawing all over the desk and stuff, how in God's name did you know about that? That's the problem with breaking the fourth wall. You have to do it in a way that's just there for comedic purposes, not there just to throw it in there. You can't just break the fourth wall and think it's completely fine. You can only do it in certain aspects. The timing is crucial, in short. Gintama shows people how to break the fourth wall perfectly. If you want to see how it's really done, watch it there. Animation was weird, because at the beginning of the episode, it was choppy as hell. I will agree with that. But later in towards the episode, it was pretty fluid, actually. And I know some people were talking in the comments last week, like, I don't know what you're talking about. This was clearly choppy, bias, blah, blah, blah. Last week, it was choppy, but I didn't feel as if it was like stop motion choppy. It wasn't like ridiculous. Like, you remember that motorcycle scene in Fate Zero when everything was like moving at like 15 frames per second? It wasn't like that choppy, and that's more so what I would consider choppy. And it wasn't that choppy last week. It was only like that in a couple of scenes. This week, it was pretty choppy towards the beginning, but later on in the episode, you could see the increase in budget from the first season coming into this season. Along with the animation, the art also looked really good this episode. That's my opinion. It's still not in like the top best looking shows of this season, but it did look pretty good in terms of like Durarara standards comparing the first season to the second season. Especially in that scene where they used the depth of field. They used the depth of field in a couple of scenes, actually. It looked really nice. I really didn't like the beginning, in short, because when we were in the park with Shizuo and he just beats the shit out of that one guy, we don't know who this guy is, and I guess in a sense that adds a sense of mystery, but in another sense, it was really jarring because we didn't really have a clue what was going on other than this guy pissed Shizuo off. Shizuo didn't like him getting pissed off, of course, and he slammed him. And that's the farthest it goes in terms of explanation, but we don't know exactly what those two were doing there, what the hell they were fighting over. Were one of those two the murderer? They weren't really in costumes from what I could tell, but I have no clue. And I guess that once it gets revealed later, it won't really be as much of an issue, but as of now, it just feels like the pacing, because they're not explaining stuff like this, it feels as if the pacing is really rushed. That's how it feels to me. Shinra, don't say you're free to make trouble. I know what happens to you in later arcs, bub. I love the new characters, actually. I like Aoba quite a lot. I do think that he's one of those, he's not like an Izaya type character, he's more so like a mixture, what I would call, between like Masaomi and Mikado, kind of like that perfect balance in between. That's what I do like about him. The other girls, Izaya's sisters, we saw them last season, but we didn't really get any backstories in terms of like who they were and stuff. I did like them, but I don't like how Myru fits in the story at all. I do see where she fits. She kind of, like when Izaya explained all of this, it didn't feel like info dumping to me. I clearly understood it, but I can see how that could be taken as info dumping, by the way, which is something I'm about to get to in a second. But Myru just feels like an annoyance to me. Even though I did like her character, she was really bold, but in a sense, I feel as if she gets too much screen time, she's gonna end up becoming annoying and clingy and protective. On the other hand, I did like her sister because she doesn't talk a lot. They are both pretty slutty, though. I also have one complaint, pet peeve. How the fuck are you wearing your gym uniform when that's not the uniform? You should probably fix that shit. Plot hole, she didn't get a demerit or a detention. Have that seat. I still don't know why she hasn't actually gotten any trouble whatsoever, but it's whatever. You know, this is Durarara. There's headless riders walking around. Damn, that nigga was tall as fuck. You guys know which one I'm talking about. Jesus Christ, the one that looked like fucking Shaq. Only white. and not ugly. No, I take that last comment back. Love the OST, of course. I think the presentation of this show in general is just pretty good, but the OST I think stands out the most. Not necessarily anything groundbreaking, but it gets me pretty pumped. I like the relaxing songs. I like the jazz. I like the funky upbeat tunes. It's just everything about the OST, I just love it. Also, what the fuck was this zombie thing? Was that, I'm assuming maybe at the beginning of the episode, that was probably the murderer? I'll have to take a guess, but what the hell is he doing here? There is stuff like that just wasn't even explained whatsoever. It's like, what are we supposed to be doing? Are we just supposed to watch it without any questioning? Because we don't even know what we're doing here. That's how the viewer feels. The viewer doesn't even know what they're doing there, and that's what I felt like. I felt as if I was completely out of the loop. That's how I feel for the majority of this episode, but overall, I wouldn't say it would go as far as bad, but I would say it had a lot of problems. Better episodes this week. A lot better episodes this week. A lot better stuff aired this week, from at least from what I could tell. Or not necessarily a lot better stuff, but most of the episodes this week compared to the first week's were a lot better. This, I would say, was a downgrade. But anyways, yeah, let me just go ahead, before somebody says I'm hating on it, let me just go ahead and do a little praise. Did you see how good the Macintosh was moving? The Macintosh computer was running at a smooth 60 frames per second. Personified specs. Clearly, he custom built a Mac to put in an i7 4770K processor, 32 gigs of RAM, 8 terabytes of memory, and a GTX 980. There you go, there's your praising. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Deuces.